She hidden from the world, but discovered an incredible love that changed her life forever. Lily was a ripple in a pond, unseen, unnoticed, and drifting in a world that rushed past her. At 28, she felt more like an echo of her family's flower shop, faded and weathered against the bright chaos of life outside. Her dreams of painting of splashing colors onto canvases that spoke of hope and freedom remained buried beneath the burden of her ailing mother and the shop's struggles. Each day, she wrapped delicate blooms into vibrant arrangements, every twist of the wire and every snip with the scissors an act of devotion, her art hidden behind the glass walls of societal expectations. On a sun-drenched afternoon, the bell above the flower shop door jingled, breaking the soothing scent of fresh daisies and lavender. In walked Jake, a quiet man with haunted eyes, just back from a war that left more than scars. It left a void that echoed loudly in the silence of a small town. He needed the flowers' vibrant hues to ground him, unaware his presence would change everything. Their first conversation was tentative, filtering through the layers of grief and unexpressed hopes. Jake picked up a sunflower, its wide face mirroring the innocence he once fought for, and suddenly, the walls around Lily began to crack. For the first time in years, someone glanced past her burdens, caught glimpses of her passion. They shared stories, hers of the shop's declining fortunes, his of battles fought both outside and within. This connection bloomed, delicate yet unyielding, as days turned into weeks. Lily found herself smiling for no reason at all, her heart swelling at Jake's gentle laughter and understanding. She discovered he was a kindred spirit, someone who also bore the weight of being judged by the town, by fate, and by life. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. But as their friendship blossomed into something deeper, whispers began to rise in their small town, echoing through the very streets where Lily had always felt invisible. Could she, a mere flower shop owner marked by her family's financial struggles, truly be worthy of love from someone as brave as Jake? Lily began to retreat, feeling the weight of those judgments suffocate her vibrant spirit. Jake, wrestling with his own unseen demons, fought to remain present for both of them. Together, they began to weave a tapestry of resilience, openly confronting their pasts and the expectations that had always stifled them. With every quiet moment shared under the canopy of blooming trees, vulnerability crept in, hope burned bright. But just as they found comfort in each other's arms, a storm brewed in the town, threatening the fragile peace they'd built together. As tensions rose and their love became the talk of the town, Lily stood at the brink of something terrifying. Would they shatter under the weight of judgment, or would they fight for a chance at something beautiful? Their dreams, once buried in a flower shop, now hung in the air like the scent of lavender, a promise, a challenge. As fear and hope collided, one question lingered: could their love withstand the storm? The days grew long under the weight of whispered gossip and sidelong glances. Lily felt as if the very air in the flower shop was thick with tension. The townspeople no longer just regarded her as the girl behind the counter but as a topic of their discussions, as if her story was up for public consumption. Jake, often still after an absence of words, looked into Lily's eyes with a softness that made the noise around them fade. Yet even in his presence, the unease lingered. They stole moments beneath the old oak tree at the park, where the roots tangled like their troubled thoughts. Laughter punctuated their discussions, but it always felt precarious, as if it could topple into despair at any moment. On one unforgettable afternoon, attributing her emotions to the blooming tulips around her, Lily gathered her courage. "Jake, do you ever feel like the town, like everyone is just waiting for us to fail?" Jake's expression hardened slightly. "Every day, Lily. But I refuse to let their doubts define us." His words ignited a spark of resolve in her, a flame that flickered fitfully against the shadows of their surroundings. She gently squeezed his hand, looking for solace. But what if they're right? What if I'm not strong enough? Then we become strong together. His conviction settled in the air between them, a protective bubble against their insecurities. As they leaned closer, their foreheads touching, a fragile warmth enveloped them. It felt like home. But the persistent whispers echoed in the back of Lily's mind, pulling at her heartstrings, reminding her of the weight they carried. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting the world in shades of amber and violet, an artist's palette come to life. They had started painting a love story together, each brushstroke a shared laughter, every color a memory. But what if the canvas was destined to tear? Meanwhile, back in town, the rumors took a darker turn. Old wounds were reopened, childhood friends turned into adversaries, each spitting out their opinions like a flurry of dark petals drifting through a storm. "Can you believe that girl? What would her family think?" echoed in hushed tones at the diner. Returning from one of their secret meetings, Jake found a small group waiting for him outside the shop. Their faces wore masks of disdain, each word a dagger. "You don't belong with her, Jake. You fought for honor, don't waste it on a flower girl." Lily watched from the window, her heart pounding, thrumming dangerously against her ribcage. The storm outside collided with the turmoil inside her. What if he turned away? What if this was his breaking point? "Leave her out of this." Jake's voice boomed, drawing attention and shock. His strength ignited something deep within Lily, a wild hope. She stepped outside, meeting the gaze of those who judged her, refusing to hide any longer. "I am more than your assumptions," she declared, her pulse racing as the gusts of wind swirled around them. "I'm not just a flower shop owner, I have dreams, I have love, and I'm fighting for it." In that moment, as petals stirred in the wind, both Jake and Lily felt the power of their bond. But could it pierce through the venom that hovered above them? As the crowd murmured and gazed, a new question tethered itself to the air: could love truly conquer the storm brewing around them? In the days that followed their confrontation, the air around the flower shop felt a little lighter, though unease still lingered like fog. The townspeople, while still gossiping, began to shift their focus. Instead of merely observing, they started talking about that bold moment, Lily's declaration, Jake's fierce defense. The whispers were now mixed with a curious kind of respect. Lily put her heart into the flowers more than ever. Every arrangement became an expression of her need to be seen, not just as the girl behind the counter, but as someone who mattered. She poured her soul into the daisies, tulips, and roses, each bloom lit with the power of her growing determination. As the rhythm of work continued, she found unexpected support. Mrs. Patterson, the local baker, stopped by one afternoon, her cheeks dusted with flour. "You know, Lily," she said, hands clasped tight with warmth, "you're doing something beautiful here. Don't let them snuff out your light." Those words felt like a balm on some of the raw wounds still bleeding within her. Just a week ago, she had been questioning her worth, and now there was a growing swell of validation that pushed back the shadows. On a crisp Saturday, Jake took her on a surprise outing. They walked down a country path, surrounded by wildflowers, the scent so intoxicating it made Lily momentarily forget the world. Birds chirped in the trees and the sun filtered through the leaves in golden shards. It was paradise, a bubble that seemed immune to the storm brewing in town. "What's on your mind?" Jake asked, glancing sideways at her. "Just everything," she murmured, plucking a petal from a nearby plant and letting it float away. It felt symbolic, unburdening the heaviness in her chest. "Sometimes I still feel like I'm losing ground. Like the town might close in on us." Jake stopped, turning to face her fully. "I won't let that happen. We're stronger together, remember?" His confidence filled her with warmth, almost making her believe it, but doubt lurked, sneaking into her heart like a thief. "What if it's not enough? Then we'll fight harder. Together." As they resumed walking, a new determination surged in her. A few weeks ago, they had become two solitary beings in a daunting world, but now, they were allies against the tide of whispers. Upon returning to town, however, the scent of flowers was soon dulled by the lingering shadows. While some townsfolk began to soften, others stirred the pot further. A new rumor spread like fire, fueled by insecurities and jealousy. Did you hear? They say Jake's going to ruin his future by staying with that girl. At an outdoor gathering that weekend, Lily felt the eyes of most attendees on her and Jake. It clung to her skin, heavy and suffocating. As their laughter rang through the air, she caught sight of a familiar face, Julie, her former best friend, whose expression was a mix of disbelief and something darker. The confrontation she anticipated but dreaded dawned on her all at once. Julie moved towards them, each of her steps a calculated strike. "What do you think you're doing, Jake?" she said, her voice dripping with contempt. "You could have anyone, and you choose the flower girl?" Lily's heart raced. She felt all eyes shift, the laughter around them dimming. Would Jake stand up again, or buckle under the weight of judgment? "Julie, stop," he began, his voice steady. "This isn't about what I could have. This is about what I want." Lily searched his face for assurance, but insecurity dripped into the corners of her confidence. Until this moment, they had both felt so invincible. Now, she feared that the crowd's collective breath was holding their fate tightly. What if they waded too deep? What if the churning waters of doubt pulled them apart? As tensions escalated, Lily took a deep breath, ready to redefine their story once again. Could truth withstand the onslaught of doubt? The moment hung in the air like a tense bowstring, ready to snap. Lily's heart hammered against her ribcage as she clutched the hem of her dress. The laughter faded, replaced by whispers that curled like smoke around them. "Really, Jake?" Julie scoffed, her eyes narrowing. "This is beneath you." Lily felt the weight of the crowd pressing in. She could almost see the tiny flickers of judgment igniting in their eyes. But she refused to back down. This was her moment, her chance to stand tall in the face of the storm. "Julie," Lily stepped forward, trying to steady her voice despite the tremors she felt. "I'm not a prize to be won or lost. I'm a person, just like you. I have dreams and fears, and I'm not going to let anyone decide my worth." A few people shifted, visibly taken aback by her sudden courage. Jake looked at her with admiration, pride written across his features. "But you don't think he can have better?" Julie threw her hands up, feigning exasperation. "You think this petty flower shop makes you special? You're living in a dream." The crowd murmured, intrigued by Julie's challenge and Lily's defiance. There was an electric buzz in the air, a tension that danced dangerously close to chaos. "What I think," Jake spoke up, his voice firm, "is that you don't know Lily at all. You see flowers, but I see her strength, her passion. She's not just anything, she's more than you can imagine." Lily's heart soared, encouragement wrapping around her like a warm blanket. But the clamor of doubt still flickered at the edges of her mind. Why did Julie's words hurt so much? "Why don't you just go back to being the flower girl?" Julie pressed, her tone laced with venom. "You know this won't last, right? You'll just be a passing whim in Jake's life." That hit home. Lily's heart sank, the weight of uncertainty pressing down again as common fears crept back into her mind. Would Jake tire of her? Would she always be seen as the girl from the flower shop? But Jake's hand found hers instantly, his touch grounding and solid. "Don't listen to her," he murmured. "You are so much more. You create beauty. That's a gift. Don't let anyone take that away from you." As she gazed into Jake's eyes, she could see the truth resting there, bold and unwavering. This was real. But part of her still wondered, was that enough against the whispers of doubt? She inhaled deeply, steadying her breath. I won't let anyone define me, my worth, my dreams. I'm here to stay, and I will rise above this. The crowd seemed to react, a hand clapping hesitantly, then another joined in. It was a raucous applause, a wave of support that broke through the tension. Even Mrs. Patterson's voice rose above the others, "That's right, Lily. Keep shining." Unsure whispers transformed into cheers, creating a newfound energy around them. Yet amidst the growing support, she could still see that flicker of hatred in Julie's eyes. As the gathering continued, Lily felt the warmth of acceptance washing over her, but a chill of foreboding lingered. What would happen when the high of this moment faded? Would Julie rally more forces against them? But there was a fire inside her now that she couldn't ignore. She had chosen to rise. And as she stood hand in hand with Jake, she knew their fight was far from over. In that moment, she glanced at Julie, who was whispering angrily to a group of onlookers, her face a mask of disapproval. Was there a way to reach her? To show her that love can grow even in the harshest conditions? A new determination ignited within her, to not only fight for herself but to challenge the very narrative that had pinned so many down. Little did she know, the next twist in their story would be a test unlike any before, one that could either bind them together or tear them apart. What awaited them? Could they withstand the oncoming storm? The crowd's cheers enveloped Lily like a warm embrace, fueling her resolve. But as she stood there, her heart racing next to Jake, she couldn't shake the feeling that the battle wasn't over. Julie's voice echoed in her mind, a relentless whisper challenging her reality. Could she really hold on to this moment? "I'm proud of you," Jake said, his eyes shining with admiration. He brushed the loose strands of hair from her face, making her feel like the only person in the room. But even his words, infused with warmth, couldn't extinguish the flicker of doubt that had lodged itself in her heart. What if it wasn't enough? What if she did fade away like a forgotten blossom? "Thank you," she replied, forcing a smile. "But, what happens now? Will this change anything?" "What do you mean?" Jake asked, his brow furrowing in concern. "This applause, this moment, it all feels fragile," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "What if we're just temporary?" Before Jake could respond, Julie mockingly clapped her hands, drawing attention back to herself. "Oh, look at them. Adorable, aren't they? But let's be real, folks, this won't last. How long before our little flower girl is thrown away?" The crowd shifted uncomfortably, the tension thickening again like a storm cloud. "Get a life, Julie," Lily heard someone murmur from the back. It was Gina, a girl from the local bakery. That slight wave of solidarity brought a small spark of hope. But even that felt fleeting. "Lily," Jake said, pulling her closer, "don't you dare let her get to you." "I know," she sighed, glancing up at him. "But it's hard not to." The moment felt heavy, each heartbeat marked by uncertainty. But Jake's grip tightened around her hand, reminding her that their connection was real, tangible. "Let's take a walk," he suggested, tugging her gently away from the gathering. As they stepped into the cool evening air, the world outside felt almost surreal, the heat of confrontation giving way to a quiet vulnerability. "I never imagined this would happen," she said as they moved through the ornate garden outside the venue, filled with colorful blooms that seemed to celebrate her defiance. "I thought I'd be just, unseen." "You're not unseen, Lily. You're a force of nature," Jake replied. "Just look how you changed the room. Even with one little speech. What if you used that voice more?" Lily stopped, taking a deep breath as a wave of emotions crashed over her. "What if no one ever listens? What if my dreams are just that, dreams? Then we'll make them real," he urged, stepping closer, his expression earnest. "Let us do this together." The sincerity of his words flooded her with warmth and determination. Together. The concept felt bold, invigorating, and also terrifying. What if they faced more storms, even beyond Julie? I want to fight, but what if I'm not strong enough? She questioned, feeling the weight of responsibility creeping over her. You are strong, Jake said with a quiet intensity. You raised a whole crowd to believe in you. That's strength. You just have to remember it's okay to be afraid. It's okay to feel unsure. Just don't let that shape your future. As they stood in that moment, surrounded by colorful petals swaying gently in the breeze, the world felt expansive and filled with possibility. Lily dared to believe that maybe, just maybe, she could be someone who mattered. What if Julie's hatred could become a fuel for their journey? What if they turned their struggles into strength? But then a loud crash shattered the tranquility. They turned simultaneously towards the noise, hearts racing. It was too much like a storm rolling in. What was that? Lily asked, anxiety creeping back in. The answer was just ahead, and it sent a shiver down her spine. The night was about to reveal challenges she had never anticipated. Would they be ready to face whatever came their way? The noise rang out again, louder this time. It was chaos, like thunder cracking in the stillness of the night. Lily's heart dropped as she clutched Jake's hand tighter. The air felt thick, as if the universe was holding its breath along with her. Let's check it out, Jake said, his voice steady but edged with concern. He led her through the labyrinth of magnificent flowers and past glimmering lights that adorned the garden. With each step, she felt her pulse quicken. Shadows twisted among the vibrant petals, and Lily could see figures congregating ahead. As they drew closer, whispers engulfed them, a muffled undercurrent that prickled her skin. What is happening? Lily murmured, glancing sideways at Jake, who didn't meet her gaze, focused instead on the crowd up ahead. When they reached the center, Lily's breath caught in her throat. A commotion had erupted. Julie stood there, lips curled in triumph, holding up something that glinted ominously in the moonlight. It was her trophy, one that had been awarded to her earlier that night. Everyone, look what I found! Julie shouted, her voice piercing through the murmurs. The crowd parted, eyes wide, drawn into the drama unfolding before them. Is this what you worship? The so-called flower girl? Let us see how fragile this all is. In a sudden movement, she raised the trophy high above her head and smashed it against the ground. The sound was a shattering declaration, like a glass breaking free from its delicate confines. Lily felt the impact echoed in her chest, a visceral reaction to the thought of everything she had worked for crumbling before her eyes. Gasps filled the air. Some people stepped back as pieces scattered like shattered dreams across the cobblestones. Lily felt her heart sink, as despair washed over her. That's right. Julie jeered, her eyes glittering with malice. One mistake and it's all over for you, Lily. You think you're so secure? Everyone loves a good fall from grace. Lily's thoughts spiraled, tangled in a web of hurt and disbelief. Jake's grip on her hand tightened, grounding her amidst the chaos. We won't let her win, he said fiercely, though she could hear the uncertainty behind his bravado. As a few murmurs of sympathy rose from the crowd, Lily spotted Gina again, her face scrunched in anger, and two others stepping forward, ready to defend her. But anger wasn't what Lily needed. She needed to reclaim her moment, to show everyone that she was not just an icon to be broken. Stop! Lily heard her own voice rise above the din, stronger than she felt inside. This doesn't define who I am. I'm not here for a trophy or applause. I'm here for something deeper. The crowd fell silent, all eyes now on her as she stepped forward, shaking but determined. The reality crashed over her, filling the moment with heavy gravity. They were watching, and she was terrified. Julie, she continued, stepping past the debris of her shattered dreams, you may break trophies, but you will never break my spirit. Look around. This is a community, and I will stand here despite your hate. A flicker of defiance ignited somewhere within, and the murmurs shifted. Was she really doing this? Feeling the warmth of solidarity starting to emerge, she pressed on, sweeping her gaze across the crowd, daring them to join her. Together, we can rise. Together, we can reclaim what truly matters. But as the crowd's murmurs began to rise in support, she caught Julie's calculating gaze, and a chill clawed at her heart. What would Julie do next? The night had continued to unfold, revealing layers of turmoil and confrontation. And with that tempest came questions: could she inspire them to stand with her? Would she have the strength to guide them through? Lily took a deep breath, ready for whatever storm lay ahead. What would she do if Julie made her next move? Would she find her courage in the face of fear? The tension in the air thickened as Julie stepped back from the remnants of the trophy, her face alive with a cruel smirk. Lily knew this wasn't over. The crowd watched with bated breath, a pendulum swinging between loyalty and fear, and she could almost hear heartbeats syncing with her own. Is that all you have? A plea for community? Julie taunted, her voice dripping with condescension. Empty words don't change the fact that you're all bark and no bite. You really think they want to rally behind a failure? Jake's hand tightened around hers, a fierce anchor in the unsteady sea of emotions swirling around them. Don't listen to her, Lily. He whispered, his urgency brushing her cheek like a gentle wind. Don't I? Lily's heart raced as she shot back, her voice gaining momentum. The truth is, I was afraid of what would happen if I stood up. Afraid of falling. But tonight I remember that I've already risen from my own ashes. I won't let your words define me anymore. As she spoke, the crowd shifted. Lily felt their attention draw closer, swirling in a potent mix of empathy and confusion. Faces once skeptical began to soften. She searched for encouraging glances, needing any sign that they believed her. She found them: a few nods, a whisper of yeah. In the dark, Julie's confidence faltered, just for a fleeting moment, but she quickly masked it with a scoff. So you think few inspiring words will change everything? That this little act of defiance means anything? Yes. Lily shot back, feeling fire ignite within her. Anger won't lead us. You can break a trophy, but this— she gestured broadly to those standing with her, this isn't just a moment. This is a movement. We're in this together. Her voice rose above the crowd, and she could feel their energy surging as they leaned in closer, caught in her gravity. Hope was sparking like dry kindling catching flame. Gina stepped forward, her eyes fierce. You're right, Lily. We are a community. We will stand by you. A chorus of agreement rose. Together. We stand together. They were echoing her sentiments now, and it felt like an anthem unfurling in the nighttime sky. Yes, they were still there, fighting against Julie's cruelty, rallying behind her. For the first time that night, Lily felt the fear begin to lift. A fierce joy edged the pit of her stomach. She could inspire them. She could transform pain into strength. Julie's expression soured, and she stepped forward. You think this will last? One speech won't erase the truth. You're still just that girl with a broken trophy. No, Lily replied, pushing through her doubt. I'm not just a girl with a trophy. I am the voice of those who stumbled and found their strength again. We all fought battles, and tonight, we choose to rise together. Julie's eyes narrowed dangerously, and Lily braced herself, feeling the challenge hanging in the air like fog. What would Julie do next? Would she try to take this moment from her? The crowd's support felt like a warm blanket wrapping around her, but tension still crackled. Julie was cornered, and cornered animals often lash out. Where would this confrontation go? Would she stand firm against the storm, or would fear creep back in? A sudden shout interrupted her thoughts. Whatever happens next, we're here for you, Lily. The wave of encouragement washed over her. She needed to be ready, whatever dark plan Julie was concocting. But in the depths of her heart, a whisper of hope snaked through. Maybe this was her moment, the turning point she longed for. Could she outpace Julie? Could she hold on to the growing light within her? Lily locked eyes with Jake, the confidence shimmering in his gaze a mirror to her own courage. With hearts racing, they prepared for whatever storm would come next, knowing the dawn always follows the darkest night. What would the next move be in this battle for themselves? The answer lay just ahead, waiting to unfold. The crowd buzzed with anticipation, their breaths held tight in the excitement of the moment. Lily's heart pounded like a fierce drum, a rhythm that seemed to synchronize with the collective heartbeats surrounding her. She couldn't let this moment shrink back into darkness. Julie was still there, glaring daggers, but Lily's spirit surged with renewed energy. "Want to see what real strength looks like, Julie?" Lily called out, her voice echoing through the silence like a rallying cry. "Strength isn't about trophies or titles, it's about standing tall after being knocked down. We all have scars, it's what we do with them that defines us." Julie rolled her eyes, but a flicker of uncertainty crossed her features briefly. The chatter in the crowd shifted, murmurs of recognition rippling like a wave as people started to reflect on their own struggles, their own scars. Hadn't they all felt the weight of judgment? The sting of failure? "Yeah!" shouted someone from the back, their voice vibrant. "We're not just here to watch. We're here to be part of something bigger." The tide was turning, and Lily felt the swell of possibilities rise within her. She wanted to reach every single person, to make them feel the tide of warmth growing among them. Together, we are unruly. We have voices. And together, we can shatter every misconception they throw at us. As she spoke, those faces she'd seen doubting began to transform, eyes brightening, shoulders squaring, fists raised high. They needed to believe in this fight just as much as she did. But Julie wasn't finished. Her voice oozed with scorn. "Look at you. A bunch of wannabes. You really think this can hold up against reality? You think they'll stand with you when things get tough?" A collective gasp rippled through the crowd. The doubt was a bitter taste in the air, but Lily shook her head. "You're wrong. We've faced the tough times already. We've felt the pain, and we are ready to change that." The loud murmurs of agreement crescendoed into a powerful roar. They shouted together. 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 And the sound enveloped Lily like a safety net, giving her strength. She could see them standing in defiance, arm in arm, determined to rewrite their stories. Lily turned her gaze back to Julie, her expression now softening. "You think your words have power over us? We're taking that power back." But Julie's smirk returned. "You're just delaying the inevitable. I'll dismantle this little fantasy of yours, just wait." A chill swept through Lily at Julie's audacity, but she pushed it aside. She had support now. This wasn't a fantasy, it was a chance for unity, a chance to reshape their narrative. As the crowd chanted her name, she felt Jake's hand tighten around hers again, grounding her. "Trust yourself," he said softly, his confidence like an electric current surging through her. "Yes." Lily shouted with conviction, her heart swelling with purpose. "We can be the change. We are not defined by past failures, nor by a single night. We are the voice of everyone who was told they weren't enough." Julie's eyes darkened, fury bubbling beneath the surface. With one final glare, she turned and stormed off, the sound of her footsteps echoing through the now vibrant air. The crowd erupted in applause, cheers ringing loudly above the night, a symphony of hope blending with the sweet scent of possibility. In that moment, Lily understood, fear would always try to hold her back, but hope, now ignited, would always urge her to step forward. "What's next?" Jake asked, his eyes sparkling with eagerness. Lily smiled, knowing their journey had just begun. "I think it's time we really show everyone what we're capable of. Let us talk about who we really are." As they ventured away from the chaos, the sound of renewal echoed behind them. Yet, lurking in the shadows, Julie seethed, planning her next move. What would she unleash next, and how would it test their newfound strength? The answer was uncharted territory, but they were ready to face whatever came next. The moment felt electric, the energy of the crowd still swirling around them as they walked away from the scene. Lily caught her breath, heart fluttering as she exchanged glances with Jake. "Do you really think we can pull this off?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Absolutely," he replied, beaming with confidence that made her feel invincible. "You just inspired them. People need a reason to believe, and you've given them that." As they navigated through the crowd, laughter and animated conversations filled the air. It was a stark contrast to how it had felt moments ago, when tension hung like a thick fog. Every face around them seemed illuminated, eyes sparkling with a newfound determination. A group of teenagers approached, the same ones who had shouted in support. "Hey, that was awesome. What's next?" One of them, a girl in a bright orange hoodie, asked, her excitement palpable. Lily exchanged a glance with Jake before responding. "Next, we empower ourselves. We share our stories, showcase our talents, and create a space where everyone feels they belong." The group nodded enthusiastically. "Yes. We should do a talent show like, a community event where everyone can participate." "Yes." Someone else chimed in, his eyes wide with excitement. "Let us do it in the park. We can set up a stage and invite everyone." The mere idea sent waves of exhilaration coursing through Lily. "That's perfect. We'll call it Voices of the Unheard. It'll highlight our strengths and our journeys." The group buzzed with ideas, already brainstorming who to involve and what talents to showcase. Suddenly, Julie's harsh words echoed back in Lily's mind. "But what if she tries to sabotage us again?" "Let us not focus on her," Jake said, sensing her apprehension. "We're stronger together. If we stand united, she won't have the power she thinks she does." Lily felt a rush of warmth at his unwavering belief. Okay, she thought. They wouldn't let the fear of another attack hold them back. They simply had to be smarter this time, they would lift each other up. Hours slipped by as they organized, buzzing with excitement. Ideas bounced around like confetti, filling the void that had once been filled with silence and self-doubt. The crowd slowly dwindled, but the spark remained. As the last few stragglers dispersed, Lily caught a glimpse of someone watching from a distance. Her pulse quickened as she realized it was Julie, standing concealed beneath the shadows of a tree, her expression unreadable. Did she hear them? Did she care? Jake noticed her gaze and grabbed her hand, squeezing gently. "Don't let her dampen your spirit. What we're building is solid. It's real." But Lily couldn't shake the unease. What if Julie not only sought revenge but used it to disrupt their newfound bond? In that moment, she felt torn between hope for the future and the looming shadow of past heartbreak. "Lily," Jake said, drawing her focus back to him. "We have each other, and this is just the beginning." As the weight of his words settled around her, Lily felt herself breathe deeper. Hope surged once more, mingling with resolve. "You're right. We can face whatever comes. Together." They turned to leave, heading home with an air of determination. But as they walked away, a single thought anchored in Lily's mind: what lengths would Julie go to if she felt truly threatened? The answer lingered, a chilling uncertainty teasing at the back of her thoughts. One thing was clear though, they were entering untested waters, and this journey had only just begun. The day of the Voices of the Unheard talent show dawned bright and vibrant, just like the hope swelling in Lily's chest. She stepped out of her small apartment, heart thrumming, ready to face whatever challenges awaited them. Underneath the enthusiastic chatter of the townspeople setting up, there was an undercurrent of tension. Whispers floated through the crowd like paper planes in a breeze. "Isn't that the flower girl? A voice sneered when they passed her. What makes her think she can host a talent show? Lily felt the pricks of judgment but steeled herself. She couldn't let doubt creep back in. She inhaled deeply, the sweet scent of blooming flowers filling her lungs, and smiled at Jake, who was adjusting the makeshift stage. His determination matched her own, and his unwavering support pulsed beneath the surface, a quiet reassurance. As people began to gather, Lily noticed familiar faces appearing. Mrs. Patterson, the baker, had brought cupcakes decorated with pastel icing. Old Mr. Johnson, with his wide-brimmed hat, was lugging in an old guitar. The warmth of community intensified in her heart, chasing away the lingering shadows of Julie's earlier taunts. "Are we ready?" Jake asked, glancing over her shoulder at the growing crowd. "More than ready," she replied, excitement bubbling at the intensity of the moment. They had worked hard to create this space, a safe haven for creativity and expression. It was what they had fought for. As the show started, the sun dipped low in the sky, painting hues of orange and pink across the horizon. The crowd was captivated. Talents ranged from heartfelt singing to comedic skits, each performance earning admiration and applause. Laughter bubbled up like champagne, a delightful effervescence that filled the air. But as the night unfolded, Lily caught sight of Julie lurking near the back of the crowd, arms crossed, her eyes narrowed in disapproval. A chill skittered down Lily's spine. What was Julie planning? "Hey!" Jake nudged her gently, breaking through her spiraling thoughts. "Look!" A young boy took the stage. His small frame seemed to glow under the lights, and he sang a song that brought tears to many eyes. The crowd erupted into cheers, and Lily felt those prickly doubts be swept away. This was their moment, a chance for voices to rise together. More performances passed, and with every act, more unity formed. Still, Lily felt Julie's presence and unease gnawed at her insides. Would she try to sabotage this event just when it was at its peak? "Next up is Lily," the host announced, and the crowd erupted into applause. The moment was here, the culmination of everything. Lily took a deep breath and stepped onto the stage. The warm lights washed over her, momentarily blinding. It wasn't just about her anymore, it was about everyone around her. She saw familiar faces, smiling and nodding, waiting expectantly. She took a shaky breath. "Hi, everyone. I just want to say this night is more than just performances. It's our chance to share our stories and to be seen. We've all faced battles, and tonight we celebrate the strength to rise above them." A soft murmur of agreement resonated through the crowd, and it warmed her heart like sunlight. But as she continued speaking, she spotted Julie pushing her way through the crowd, sneering at the show. "This is pointless," she shouted, her harsh words laced with venom. "What is this even supposed to prove? That you can sing a cute song?" Lily's heart sank. The air grew tense like a wound-up spring, and a murmur went through the crowd. But she fought down the panic rising within her. "Julie, this is about more than just singing," Lily responded, her voice steadying. "It's about connection, vulnerability, and standing together in this moment. If you can't see that, I feel sorry for you." A ripple of gasps spread through the crowd at her words. Jake's prideful smile flickered in her periphery. "Is that what this is? A sad little display of desperation?" Julie continued, her voice strident, cutting through the air, a cold dagger aimed at their unity. She looked around, searching for sympathy, but instead found faces of determination. "Julie, you don't have to like it, but we're tired of feeling like we don't belong. We'll stand together, no matter what. You can break trophies, but you can't shatter hope," Lily declared earnestly. "And hope is what this night is all about." As she spoke, she felt the energy around her shift. The crowd began to stir, murmurs morphing into chants of hope. 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 She could feel their collective strength behind her, pushing her forward, lifting her high above the tempest. Julie's face twisted in fury, but even she couldn't withstand the tidal wave of resilience. With a huff of defeat, she turned away, the chaos she brought behind her dissipating like smoke in a breeze. Lily breathed a sigh of relief, her heart soaring. She turned her focus back to the audience, who were more present than ever. "Let us continue celebrating," she declared, her spirit invigorated. The applause grew louder, a warm embrace that drowned out all shadows. Throughout the rest of the night, Lily delivered a heartfelt performance. She poured her soul into every note and stroke of poetry, immersing the crowd in emotions both shared and individual. With every cheer, every kind word, she rose higher and stronger, bloom after bloom. As the last song faded, the applause swelled like a wave crashing dramatically against the shore. Tears of joy sparkled in her eyes as the crowd rose to their feet, shouting in support and love. That night marked a turning point not just for Lily, but for the entire community. They began to understand the power of unity, the strength to break free from judgment and embrace vulnerability. As she stepped away from the stage, Jake pulled her into a crushing hug. "I'm so proud of you. You didn't let me face this alone," Lily replied, feeling the weight of love tumble around them like a blanket. The evening spiraled on with laughter, shared stories, and the reaffirmation of their newfound strength. Julie might still be lurking, but together, they wouldn't sink again. A dawning realization washed over Lily, she had finally stepped into her own light. As she stood, surrounded by her friends and community, she knew the journey was far from over. But they would face the storms together, and love would always find a way to bloom even in the darkest patches. This was her moment, this was their moment. Love had conquered doubt, and together they could paint a new story, one where their voices filled the air like fragrant flowers, vibrant and unyielding. Now it's your turn. You need to subscribe now to not miss these exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support. Comment below your reactions and feelings about Lily's incredible journey. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Let us keep this community growing together.